This is the Chefpreneur podcast, where we inspire professional cooks to take on greater risk to build a personal chef business for themselves. Now, here's your host, Andres Hinojosa.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Chefpreneur podcast. I am your host, Andres Hinojosa. Thank you so much again for tuning in today. If this is your first time listening to the Chefpreneur podcast, you're in the right place if you want to start, grow, or run a personal chef business of your own. This is where like-minded chefs come to learn and listen all about the personal chef business. Now, with every podcast episode, we like to start off with a question and an answer. This question this week comes from an actual masterclass student of mine. Her name is Michelle Hallett. And a shout out to her, but she wrote in the Chefpreneur Movement Facebook group that she would love to hear a play-by-play on how to do a plated dinner service. Now, that's a great question, and I'm just going to kind of assume that you're wanting to know kind of how I go about the steps of doing a plated dinner service. So what I do is, for all of my events, I usually arrive 3 to 4 hours ahead of time from when the scheduled time that the client would like either the first course or the appetizer to be served. So in this case, if it's a plated dinner service, it's going to be the first course. And so let's say they want the first course done at, starting at 6 o'clock. I'll usually arrive between 2:30 and 3 and gives me enough time to prep and, do all of the things that I want to do. After probably about 30 minutes beforehand, around 5:30, I start to set the table. I do print out small printed menus for each table setting, and I basically will set the table with all the forks, knives, spoons, everything I need for the meal. And I usually at that point will have my server, because usually when I do a plated dinner service, I have an event hand or a server with me. And what I have them do is I show them which plates I want to use for each course. They usually kind of polish them or wash them lightly a little bit, and then kind of set them up. If there's a plate warmer or a warmer inside the home, inside the kitchen I'm working in, I definitely put in any of the plates that need to be warmed for each course. So if the first course is a warm appetizer, I definitely would like to warm up the plate, and also the entree, of course, plate I'd like to have warm. And I usually put those in the warming drawer, and then after that, I'm basically ready to go. Usually my event hand will basically, like I said, set up all the plates for me in the sense of getting them, nice and polished, stacking them up so that they're ready to be used by me for each course. Now, once basically I basically have all my mise en place, I have everything prepped out. I like to use deli containers, so I buy those at the restaurant supply store, and I just buy a big pack of like 250 cups with lids. They're like these little 16-ounce deli containers, and I love those things. It also works great if you have leftovers for the client and you're wanting them to, they don't have a lot of storage containers, especially if it's a rental property. And so basically what I like to do is I'd like to prep everything there and basically just get all my mise en place ready. So by the time first course starts to be plated, I plate it. Me and my server will then serve it. I explain the dish. I'll come back and start getting ready for, the second course, which might be a salad. My plated service is called a tailored service in my personal chef business, which is a 4-course plated option. And so usually I'm doing a 4-course plated menu for them. And so basically I just start to get the flow. Usually when I'm plating up the salad, I'll start kind of finishing some of the finishing touches on the entree, whether I'm pulling out the, some sort of a slow roasted filet mignon, or if it's fish, I start getting my pan hot to be able to sear it off for the entree, things like that. So I start to prepare for the entree, usually around the salad course, as I'm plating that up. And then once I send that on its way, and I serve the client the second course with my server, then I start going into getting the entree prepared. I leave the plates in the food warmer until I absolutely the last minute when I want to actually plate up the food. And then I just start plating up the food. I do my garnish. And then again, as I serve the entree, I'm explaining the entree, come back and get the dessert ready. Usually the dessert is just usually more finishing touches, so it's not as extensive. And basically, it's just a good flow. Now, I never rush any of the clients as well. Part of being a personal chef is giving that amazing experience experience. You never want to rush them. They're not in a restaurant. They're not, trying to be shifted out by some, kind of highfalutin maitre d'. And that's part of the reason why they hire a personal chef, is so they can enjoy it a little bit more in the comfort of their own home without feeling like they're stuffy in a restaurant and feeling like they're being rushed. So after I serve the dessert course, I bring everything back. We clean up the whole kitchen. We wash all the dishes. I ask them how the meal was. And of course, my server and me are always looking to make sure their water glasses are filled, if they need any more wine. You always just want to take care of them like a king or queen, right? That's really what they want you to do. And so in a nutshell, that's kind of how I prepare myself for a plated dinner service. Again, I definitely print out personalized printed menus for each table setting. I do them with half sheets of paper, so they look kind of nice. It's a smaller menu, and clients love that, and the guests love that as well, because they're able to take it home as kind of a little memoir per se of the evening. So hope that answers your question, Michelle. Hey, if you guys have a question, please reach out to us at podcast@chefpreneurprogram.com. That's podcast at chef, PRENEUR program.com. Also, like I said, this question was posted in our Facebook group. If you go to Facebook and you just search the Chefpreneur Movement, you'll see the Chefpreneur Movement Facebook group. It's a free group to join. It is a private group, so we do ask you a few questions to join. But once you answer those questions, we approve you pretty quickly, and you can definitely be part of the community. There's over 1,000 members in there now, and it's just an amazing community where you can share ideas and get ideas from other people that aspire to be a personal chef or that already have their personal chef business. So again, thank you so much, Michelle, for that question, and I look forward to answering many more. Now, on to today's episode. The episode is titled "The 3 Pieces of Software You Need to Run a Successful Personal Chef Business." Now, again, this is I want to make a disclaimer that this is completely my opinion. This is what I use to run my personal chef business, and I'm going to give you a couple caveats today because, some of you guys out there are not maybe on a level of revenue that my business is at, and I'm not saying that with any kind of ego driven attitude at all. I'm just stating that some of you are just starting out your business. Some of you are haven't even started your business yet, and you're really looking forward to it, and you're kind of doing some research right now, and you're trying to figure out where to start. And some of you are making 6 figures plus, and you're in your personal chef business, and maybe you've hit maybe a little bit of a wall, or you feel like you've plateaued a little bit. But what I wanted to do was just share my personal opinion on the 3 pieces of software I really believe you need to run a successful personal chef business. Because as the business grows, you're going to need help, and technology and software is a great way to do that. So the very first piece of software that I really highly recommend that you get is something to create your menus with. What I mean by that is that clients really expect another level from you, or they should expect another level from you as part of the experience, and that is the menu design itself. I personally love a software called Canva. It's canva.com. It's a great software. I have no affiliation towards them whatsoever as well. I just wanted to make that disclaimer as well. I just really love the program and the software, and it's extremely affordable for what you get. You basically can do any kind of design you want. You could do Facebook post off there, Instagram post. You could download the documents as a PNG or a JPEG, kind of photo image. You can download it as a PDF for print, or kind of a normal PDF. There's a lot of different formats that you're able to download anything that you create on Canva. But when you send a menu and you create like a beautiful menu on Canva for your client, it really speaks very highly of you. It gives you that professional edge. And a lot of times the clients just think that you're just have this insanely professional edge about you. And so I highly recommend Canva. It's what I use to send all my clients the menus, basically in a formatted fashion. And again, you can change colors on there. You can change fonts on there. You could do different things like that with a different amount of borders. It's pretty intense. It's actually so robust, but it's also very, very easy to use. If you can navigate Instagram, you can navigate Canva. And again, some of you guys don't have a design edge, but there is a lot of great templates in the program as well that you're able to use and start out with, and then kind of put your own twist on it. And so I highly recommend Canva for doing all of your menus and formatting them and making them look pretty to send off to your clients. Again, you could even use this for business cards. You can use it for flyers. You can use it for basically just to create like a graphic for your website. There's so many different things that you can use it for. So I highly, highly recommend Canva. If you don't have it, I believe they offer a free version of it still. And so again, you can go to canva.com and sign up for it and kind of just play around with it and see what you think about it. So that's the first piece of software I would highly recommend to run a successful personal chef business. Now, the second, and one of the things I can't live without, is definitely G Suite by Google. What I mean by G Suite is basically, we've all probably heard of Gmail, which is the email, right? But they also have Google Docs, which is kind of a version of Microsoft Word. They have Google Sheets, which is basically a version of what, an Excel spreadsheet is. They have Google Slides, which is kind of like a PowerPoint. So basically they match up a lot with Microsoft Windows per se. And different things like that. Not Microsoft Windows, I apologize, but Microsoft Office. I apologize about that. But basically, what I love G Suite and why I love it so much is because since it's all based online, you don't really need to have a physical software that you purchase and download onto your computer. So if you're ever on another computer and you're traveling and you need to log into your Google account, you're basically logging into your G Suite account with basically like your email, username, and password. And then you have access to what they call the Google Drive, which is basically their cloud system. And you can have all these documents right there on your drive. You don't have to have them physically on your computer. You can have them in the cloud, and you can work with them basically anywhere in the world as long as you're online, as well as your phone. And so right now, to this day, I use it predominantly for basically all of my storage. So I keep all those menus I was telling you about that I create on Canva. I keep those all in my G Suite and my drive, and as if it was, basically a drive in the cloud. I also use that for all my PowerPoint presentations. I use Google Slides for the Chefpreneur program, actually, as well as I love using the Google Sheets, and I created a document called my client tracker. Now, I actually give this to you in my masterclass, and it's basically a really cool spreadsheet that I created that allows you to keep track of all your clientele. So it has pertinent information in there, the amount of guests, the date of the event. I have color coding in there. I kind of have a little checklist as you go along, like have they scheduled a phone call with you yet? Have they, paid the invoice yet? Have you formatted the menu? Have you revised the menu? And it's kind of a cool way to keep track of where you are with each client, so you never lose track of the process and where you're at. And basically, I use that in my personal chef business. I mean, right now I'm looking at my client tracker as I speak, and basically, I have a good solid probably 50 inputs there on my client tracker list from now until the end of the year. We already have 50 events booked from now until the end of the year. Of course, predominantly most of them are here in the end of July, as well as August and September as well. But it's just helpful to keep track, and I put it in chronological order of the date that the client is looking to do an event. Because I do private events in my own personal chef business, I don't do any weekly meal preparation or anything like that. It's only private events, but it helps me keep track of it. And I love it because when you're on your Gmail account, which I highly recommend when you do a G Suite, it's kind of that paid version of the whole Gmail account. So I have my actual business email done through Google, done through my Gmail. And what's really cool about this is because they work together, I schedule all of my events on my Google Calendar as well, which syncs up with my phone. And what's amazing is that when you're like on Google Calendar and you're going to attach a menu onto, when you're scheduling a client for an event on my own calendar, I'm able to attach that menu straight from the drive that I saved it in on Google, and boom, I have it right there and then on my Google Calendar. And because it's all Google, it all syncs together, including my Gmail. What's great is that, let's say a client emails me, I'm able to add a task directly from that email. I'm able to star it, and I'm able to see that again through working with all of my different facets of the G Suite account as well. So it's kind of just a one-stop shop to keep yourself organized. And I believe it's like $6 a month is what I pay for the G Suite. It's basically under the personal option because the business option is pretty heavy, and it's usually when you have more than 2 users, then you would get possibly the G Suite business. But right now, all I need is the personal. It's only $6 a month and includes a personal email that's connected to my website. My personal chef business is dinnerwithachef.com. So I'm able to have my info at dinnerwithachef.com email address through the G Suite. And like I said, it's a one-stop shop, and I use it every single day. I love it. And then the third and final piece of software I use is a CRM tool. And basically, I use Infusionsoft. Infusionsoft is pretty robust. Like I said, my personal chef business last year did to $250,000. This year, we're on track to do over $300,000. And you need somewhere to organize your clients even better than just on a spreadsheet or handwritten somewhere in a folder. And what CRM stands for is Customer Relations Management. So it's a CRM tool. They call it a Customer Relations Management tool. And what it is basically it has all the pertinent information. You can customize it to having dates of events in there and things like that. And so it's linked up directly to my website. So when someone puts an inquiry on my website, it automatically transfers all that data into a database, and I can just search them by name and figure out when they want their event, how many people they're looking for, so forth and so on. I could put in personal notes. I can basically put in any categories I want. So I've created a lot of custom stuff in there, but it also has email marketing automation in there, meaning that, when they do put an inquiry in my website, the minute they put one in, it automatically triggers in my CRM tool. It speaks to it and says, hey, this client put an inquiry on their website, and it'll send out an automated email saying, hey, schedule a phone call with me. Let's talk about your event. So while I'm sleeping and someone puts an inquiry on my website, they think they're probably getting an email directly from me and saying, oh, wow, this guy's really on top of it, when realistically it's all done automatically. And what's really cool about that is I can also do all my email marketing campaign through there. So every month in my personal chef business, I do a special offer for all the clients that have already booked me, just to entice them to book again, whether it's a simple 10% off, whether it's a free appetizer or a free bottle of Prosecco is what we did last month, being that we're starting to get into the hot weather here in July. And so it just kind of triggers. And even if people don't buy, it's good to send them those monthly email marketing kind of messages and saying, hey, we have a special offer for you. Because even if they don't open up your email or they don't decide to book you that month, you're still in front of their face, and it shows up, dinner with a chef or your personal chef business shows up into their inbox. And it's just a little nudge saying, hey, we're here if you need us, right? And so basically, I love having a CRM. Now, like I said, Infusionsoft is pretty robust. It is a little bit more expensive. It's about $1,000 to get started, and then I pay about $125 a month for it. But there's other options that you can use out there. Another one is called Active Campaign. And then you can also do some just regular email marketing and kind of a database, and you can somewhat use it as a database with MailChimp. I know that's another option. And so it does email marketing. It does some email automation, and definitely it does keep track of certain things that you would get, an inquiry on your website, and it could speak to MailChimp as well. And MailChimp is fairly inexpensive. They might even have a free version of it right now, but if not, I know that it's like under $15 a month. It's pretty inexpensive. I've never used MailChimp before. I'll just make that disclaimer. I've never used Active Campaign, but I have signed up for free trials of both of them just to kind of figure it out and just to kind of get you guys to understand what some of the other pieces of software are. Infusionsoft, like I said, is very robust, and it does take a little bit of time to learn, but I would highly recommend as your business grows to get a CRM tool to be able to start speaking to your clients and doing things automated to save you time and also make you look like a rock star in your follow-up emails and in your response to your customers' inquiries. Definitely. One of the things that I just realized this morning was I had a client that booked us last year, and because I had that CRM, basically I can go to her file. I can see exactly her menu because I attach it in the software. I saw all of her notes with her allergies. I input all that stuff in there after the phone call that I had with her last year. We served her for her 65th birthday. She actually wants the same exact menu this year for her 66th birthday. Literally, she does not want to change a thing. She said she loved the food. She wants the exact same menu. It's going to be the exact same people. So it's pretty straightforward. But what's also really cool about having a CRM is that some CRMs also have invoicing. And so Infusionsoft does have invoicing, and I use all of my invoicing through that as well. So it actually saves credit card information, which is really cool. So I was able to tell my client, hey, I have your, Visa ending in so forth and so on here on file. Would you like me to charge that for the deposit? And she's like, oh yeah, that's still the card I use. Perfect. And boom, bang, bing, with a couple clicks of the mouse, boom, I have my deposit in hand, and her event's in September, and we're sitting here in July. So again, it helps you gain more business, and it helps you keep yourself more organized. If you're not looking for a CRM, if you're not there yet with your business, I highly suggest using something else like a QuickBooks for your invoicing. So I guess the third piece of software other than CRM would be more for if you're having if you have a personal chef business that's really kind of starting to gain some steam. But if not, definitely the third piece of software you need is something to invoice clients and accept credit cards. In my masterclass, I highly recommend QuickBooks Online because self-employed QuickBooks Online allows you to do all your accounting. You're able to keep track of all your expenses, but you're also ready to send invoices right from the get-go. So you basically just have to apply to accept credit card through QuickBooks. It's a very easy process, and they have a very, very high percentage of approval. It really doesn't take much to get approved. And then you get approved for it, and you're able to send an invoice where someone can pay online, either with ACH, which is basically, like an online check, or you basically are able to have them pay with a credit card. And so you never skip a beat. Most clients, I will say, probably a good 90% of my clients always pay with credit card. So you definitely, if you're not accepting credit card in your personal chef business, you're losing out on a lot of business. We are living in 2019, and most people are paying with debit cards and credit cards and things like that. And so it really helps when you're able to accept those cards, and it makes it easier for your clients to pay you. So I hope that helped you. Those are the three biggest pieces of software I use to run my personal chef business and what I think you need to run a successful personal chef business. Again, some form of them. So just to recap, number one, Canva for all your menu design needs and even other design needs that you have in your business. Number two, I love Google G Suite. It's a one-stop shop just to keep yourself organized with documents and spreadsheets and different things that you want to do in your business and have it all under one roof, as well as your email. And then the third piece of software would be invoicing software or a CRM tool management, customer relations management tool to keep everything in one database, and that's more robust with also email marketing capabilities. So I hope you guys enjoyed this Personal Chef Chefpreneur podcast. I'm really excited that you guys are still tuning in and listening to this podcast. It really means a lot. Again, hey, we're still giving away our free web class. If you go to the chefpreneurwebinar.com, that's the chef, PRENEUR webinar.com. You could sign up for our free web class. It's an on-demand free web training. And you're able to just kind of log in there, put your name and email in, and watch a free class where we teach you how to start your own personal chef business for under $500, because most of you think it costs a lot of money to start a business. And in the personal chef business, it can be further from the truth. You can actually get started with very, very little money. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you just search Chefpreneur in the YouTube search, you'll see our channel come up. Make sure you subscribe and also click on the notifications. We do publish our podcast in the YouTube channel as well, so you'll always get an update when we have a new podcast come out. And also, again, you can find us on Facebook by searching the Chefpreneur Movement Facebook group. We'd love for you to be a part of that community. It's where like-minded chefs such as me and other personal chefs and people aspiring to be personal chefs go to hang out and communicate and learn from each other. So again, we really appreciate listening to the podcast today. We are here to motivate, educate, and inspire all of you chefs and cooks to take a stand for your personal freedom by breaking the chains of a kitchen job and building your own empire. I truly believe that the future is yours, and if you could put it back in your own hands instead of into the hands of a JOB, just over broke job. So thank you guys again so much. I can't wait to talk to you guys next week on another episode of the Chefpreneur Podcast. Have a great one. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Chefpreneur Podcast, where we want to educate, motivate, and inspire as many chefs to become their own boss. Please subscribe to the podcast and join us every week to be part of the movement. To sign up for our free online web class, visit thechefpreneurwebinar.com.